is Good Taste Brekky with Chloe and Ellerina on Juice 107.3. We are lucky enough to have a fantastic relationship with a group that has made some massive waves all around the world. They did a song with Dolly Parton. I mean, they've done lots of stuff.
Their song with Tori Kelly was my all-time fave.
They've won lots of awards. They are, of course, for King and Country, and Joel Smallbone joins us on the line this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning from not-so-sunny California in the United States, girls.
Oh, well, if it makes you feel better, it's not so sunny today here either.
It's like we're in a typhoon.
Yeah, well, we can mourn the weather together.
Sounds good. And it's afternoon there for you, right?
Yeah, 12:30 in the afternoon, and we're just literally, setting up for we've been doing these drive-in concerts over here, and we're just finishing up the first weekend, or really starting the second weekend of Drummer Boy drive-in concerts. So it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, I saw that you had about 750 cars turn up.
Yeah, that was the biggest one so far of the whole tour, Ellerina. It was quite fascinating because, as you might have followed, California, a lot of the densely populated areas in America have been hit really hard, and Los Angeles is no exception. And so to be able to, offer hope and a show and bring people together in a safe and socially distanced way was really remarkable. And to have that many cars, it's the largest show we've done since quarantine. We estimate that many cars is probably around 3,000 people, and so it was just kind of mind-blowing night to have the chance to do that in a time in human history like this.
That's incredible. And I saw too that you and your brother wanted to give back to people this Christmas as well, which the actual video I watched was beautiful. Would you mind talking us through that?
So we were born in Sydney, moved to Brisbane, and then straight from Brisbane, when we were wee lads, with the whole family, we're two of 7 kids, moved straight from Brisbane to Nashville, Tennessee. And when we arrived, Dad lost his job. And so it was a very hard first year for us in the United States. We were sleeping on beds made out of clothes, no insurance, no car. We were raking leaves, mowing lawns, do whatever we could just as a family to get by. And it was around Christmas time that Mum came to us. We make a big deal of Santa Claus. We love Santa Claus, right? And so Mum came to us and said, Santa Claus is only going to be able to bring you gifts from the dollar shop this year. And I remember kind of the 7-8-year-old version of me scoffing at Mum, going, this is ridiculous. Santa Claus is not dictated to by our financial situation. So I just had this undying faith. Well, unbeknownst to me, a first grade school class found out we weren't going to be able to give one another gifts. And they sort of partnered up with Santa Claus, so to speak, and went to Mum and said, make a list of every gift you would like for your kids. And we had more gifts. It was such a polarized moment because we had nothing. But Santa Claus showed up that year in just such an incredible way, and I'll never forget it. And as an adult, thinking through as well, just the kindness of people who you've never met to reach out and offer something in what was a very dark time for our family. And so fast forward to 2020, when we started talking about this tour and Christmas and releasing the record and all of it, we just thought, you know what, how can we just do our small part, if you will, there are so many needy families this year, economically hurt. They've lost loved ones, or, they've been out of school and trying to grapple with how to, reconnect as a family. And so the chance to be able to partner with Salvation Army over here, and which is a great organization, and do these, basically we're calling it Rescue Christmas, and it's a toy drive. And just when they show up at the concert, they bring a wrapped brand new toy with them. And I was sort of shaking in my boots because I was like, how do people even do this in a pandemic? You know,
Right.
you can't go to the shops, and it's just not that simple right now. And I'm so pleased. We're 4 shows in, and every time, you know, some local representatives have come out from Salvation Army, and they've just been blown away, like just overflowing bins, filling up. I think at the Rose Bowl in California, they filled up like 2 or 3 cars worth of toys, you know.
Wow.
And so honestly, I'm so glad you asked about it, Emarina, because it's one of the highlights of the tour for me so far, beyond being able to sing for the people, is to be able to meet the need of these families in such a hard Christmas as 2020.
It's so beautiful. And obviously we loved you before, but as soon as I saw that video, I was like, my love for you guys grew astronomically. I was like, that is the best thing ever.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Now, tell us about this Christmas album. We've been checking out some of the tracks. Obviously, you released a couple last year, didn't you? I feel like Little Drummer Boy came out last year, didn't it?
Yeah, good question, Chloe. So I'll take you on a little bit of a rabbit hole journey with Christmas music into King Country. 2012, the year we released our first record, we were just so eager to tour that year that, speaking of Christmas, we were like, hey, we should just do a Christmas tour. Now, bear in mind, girls, we had no Christmas album, no Christmas single, no Christmas version.
Just
and
make
so
it so.
we were completely ill prepared for this whole thing. So we shoved ourselves into like a factory, and for 2 days we just run and gunned it and came up with these Christmas versions. One of them was the Little Drummer Boy. It was our version of the Little Drummer Boy. And from that day to this, we've done EPs and singles and live records at Christmas, and we've done a handful of wonderful Christmas tours as well. And that song has been very instrumental in the journey of the band from that day to this. And so when we got into 2020 and we started looking at the reality of this year and our great hope that Christmas 2020 is going to be unlike any we've ever experienced in our lifetime, we thought, you know what, we should do our due diligence and go in and spare no expense, really put together our first proper full-length Christmas album and release it in during this time. And so because of the influence of Drummer Boy, that song, and the impact it's had on our career, it sort of became the namesake of the record. We called it Drummer Boy Christmas, and we did a whole kind of a more elaborated version of that song that sits in the middle of the album. We did an official music video for it as well.
Saw that.
We really decided to dig in on it, and I'm very proud of the whole team for releasing it during a time like this.
And how can people access it?
Well, it's all over on all the, I think they call them DSPs, so like Spotify and Amazon and Apple Music and so on. I was hoping to get vinyls this year, but evidently everyone in the world wants to do vinyls right now, so we're going to have to wait for next year for those. But
So
we've
true.
got for the old school compact disc folk, we've got some compact discs as well, and so we can send those down to you. But primarily on streaming and download, I think, is the way the world can hear it this year.
Right. And which is your favourite song off the album?
Mm-hmm.
We might just play it for you, that's
all. Okay. Well,
Oh, tough question.
It is a tough question because it's a daunting task. You're dealing with some of the most nostalgic, well-known, and kind of precious songs ever when it comes to Christmas. And when we started sitting down and thinking about penning a couple of our own, you can feel very self-indulgent. Like, who do you think you are that you could sort of, write a song that could add anything to the greatness of the songs that have already been written throughout the years for Christmas time? But nonetheless, we gave it our good old college try. And there's one that I was particularly fascinated by. It's a song called Carol of Joseph. And what we kind of did is we looked at the biblical story and we said, what are some characters that are sort of unsung heroes? Obviously, Mary is rightfully so very celebrated, and naturally Jesus Christ is as well. But then you've got this man who, for all intents and purposes, piecing together his story, we don't know a lot about him, but he was a very humble man, and a man who could have, by right, in that time in history and by law, could have not only divorced his wife, but could have, it was a severe time for women who fell pregnant out of wedlock.
Definitely.
And yet he not only stayed with her, but he really championed her and he protected her. And I believe he really embraced Jesus as his own son. And what a noble thing to do as someone who's like, for all I know, she could have slept with another man, and obviously the angel showed up, and so he sort of knew better, but protected them and loved her and loved Jesus through the whole thing. And so there's this great sort of trifecta of that moment. We sort of planted ourselves right at the manger, and you look at Joseph looking at Mary with this incredible admiration of her as now a mother for the first time, and then him looking at Jesus and being like, Jesus, I believe in you as my stepson. And then this beautiful turn of Mary looking at Joseph, it makes me emotional even talking about it, and her looking at him with this love of going, you have protected us when you didn't need to. You have stood by me when you didn't need to. And now you are embracing my son as your own son when you didn't need to. And Mary saying to Joseph, as a woman to a man, and women, when a woman believes in a man, and a man believes in a woman, but I know from my wife, when my wife partners with me and believes in me, man, I can go to the moon. You know?
You can take on the world.
And Mary looking at Joseph going, Joseph, I believe in you. It was just this kind of beautiful moment. And so it's the most sort of low key of the record, but I think it's one of my prouder sort of offerings to the Christmas musical world that I've ever been a part of.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, we're going to play it for you right now. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning, Joel Smallbone there for King and Country.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, ladies.